Okay, so there was an interview I watched on BT News, and there was a journalist named Hermela Agawi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchered it. Uh, anyways, this young lady had a great interview with Rania Khalek on BT News. You should check out BT News. I strongly advocate for that. Advocate for that. Anyways, Hamala made a few used a few terms and words that it's stuff that I've been considering and thinking over and have ultimately come to conclude is correct, and it's something I said earlier. Also, I didn't use the exact word primitive, but I did say earlier in my life, and that was, oh God, probably 15 years ago, maybe even longer, where I made a comment to a young friend of mine, and I said, "We're going backwards. Aside from the technology advances in technology and certain social uh, justice arenas, uh, we've ultimately become stupider." I said, more ignorant, more. Uh, we're going retrograde, in reverse. Um, and Hermela used the word primitive, and the way and the context before she used the word primitive, which and I'd rather you go watch the interview on BT News. Uh, I completely agree. And the other thing that I've been commenting on, and I'm not sure, I can't remember if I did a video on, but uh, this has been something that I've been thinking, and it's pretty much cementing into a conclusion on my part, is that the UN is a rotten, corrupt, uh, and utterly useless body. Uh, the charter, yes, the charter I agree with, but the body itself is just a mafia, uh, and it is completely and utterly unequal. China and Russia have permanent seats and veto power, but the thing is the agenda. The agenda has always been on the side of the U.S. and Western powers. It always comes out that way, and it's something that I kept on seeing. I kept on seeing, repeating over and over and over again. And the more I learned about things at the UN by the charter itself and what the UN is supposed to stand for, and they have not only spoken out about it, and if they do it years later, well after the fact, or if somebody puts it in and then they repress or suppress that information. And so, I mean, that BT News interview was about the TPLF and in Ethiopia, and how like UN, the Ethiopian government had allowed UN aid, so-called aid, to go into TPLF territory. But it's like Hermela points out that there were troops along with aid TPLF troops along with it. It's like it's and the UN and the UN sidelined a lot of it. It basically took the side of the TPLF, and so this is just another example of how the UN is a complete and utter farce. I used to believe that the UN should have teeth, and they should have been allowed to have uh, uh, military and police and criminal court. And I completely right now, as it stands, I completely say no. I was absolutely wrong. The UN is a rotten to the core thing. Uh, and Hermela actually points out about a UN whistleblower who she spoke to, and 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 all the horrors that this UN whistleblower had to go through. But the one of the comments that he said to her when she asked was that the UN is a corrupt criminal body, and there's no way you can make it right and actually follow the charter. And she quotes him saying, "If I could, I'd dynamite the place." And I've been commenting. That the whole UN and the other international bodies like the ICC, Interpol, and all Human Rights Watch, and all they should all be taken out of the West, and we should build a artificial floating, very large artificial floating, continental-sized landmass on a central point on one of the oceans, and I'm starting to think the Pacific, and that there should be, aside from the charter, there should be a very stringent measures of what countries should be included, and the United States definitely should not be included. The Canadians definitely should not be included. The French definitely should not be included. The UK should definitely not be included. Australia definitely should not be included. Brazil, currently where it stands, until there's a possible new president, most definitely should not be included. Several of the old Baltic states who are pro-Western definitely should not be included. Actually, altogether, all the Western Europe should not be included. Japan definitely should not be included. South Korea, because South Korea is an occupied territory of the U.S. with a very large U.S. military force on it, definitely should not be included. And I'm South Korean. I was born in South Korea. So, India most definitely should not be included because of Modi and his fascist party, his gaggle of fascist mafias, which he's the head of. There should be stringent measures. A country and people should adhere to before they're allowed. And So, um, anyways, yeah, this is something that I feel is necessary, and I also feel greatly that the so-called West needs to be collectively punished. Uh, and I live in the United States, so I live in the West, but we need to be collectively punished. We need to be ostracized from the world community, and we should be forced to demonstrate our consistency, our ethics that follow commonality around the world, and morals that spring up from these ethics. And until we do, until we stop interfering and causing violence and chaos and destruction and pillaging and plundering, we shouldn't be allowed to get out of our borders. Um, and that includes all of Europe, almost all of Europe, definitely Australia, definitely Japan, definitely South Korea, um, uh, currently Brazil, definitely Brazil, uh, definitely India, um, uh, and Saudi, of course, there's Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Qatar. Those, none of them should uh, be able to leave their borders. Um, to teach them a lesson that hey, you can't be ruthless, ruthless acquisition uh, driven and tyrannical atrocity producers. Uh, you know, and this is based largely on those who rule, who control the means of production in all these countries I'm talking about. The ones who have control over the media. I'm sick and tired of hearing this Western centric culture and standards of ethics and morality, when the reality of it all shows it's exactly the opposite. And unfortunately, I have to completely agree that Westerners are so indoctrinated, conditioned, along with all these along with a lot of the other countries I mentioned. They're so conditioned and indoctrinated. They're a danger to themselves and danger to the whole of the planet. And so those are my feelings about it. And you know, and the fact that I'm in the United States and I'm a Westerner, and I'm well, not a Westerner. I'm in the West, so therefore but I'm not really a Westerner. Of course, whenever they talk about Western culture or that's largely driven by this idea of race, and that's another topic. If you pay attention to my videos, you find that I find to be utterly disgusting, because there is no such thing as a race, and there really shouldn't be anything like countries. Because let's face it, we're all born on the same fucking planet. And we need to share the resources. And we need to come collectively together, because otherwise, what we do is we are consuming and mindlessly, and bringing an end to ourselves. We are collectively attributing to our own ultimate demise. So I'm a Terran. I was born on Earth, and another name for Earth is Terra, and so I'm a Terran, and that's why I believe in enlightened collective solidarity. That's why I'm not against advancement. I'm not technological advancements. I'm not against scientific advancement. I'm not against a lot of the stuff which actually makes our collective lives better. What I'm against is the use, the self-centered, self-motivated use, and the controls because of this. That's what I'm against. I'm not against science and engineering and all that other stuff. I'm against those who control it, who own it, who set parameters for it. Social media, great thing, but I'm against social media, the ones that own and control social media and media as general, whether it's the conventional or print or whatnot. I'm against them because they have the control, they have the ownership, they have the means to sow misinformation, disinformation, spin, and bias and agenda. So that's it.